know about you, Goon, but I'm feeling good. Actually, better than good. I'm feeling super. I'm feeling super, Goon. Very excited about Bengals and the Rams. Not really. I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be a good game. I'm passionate against the Bengals generally. It's just that I do like Joe Burrow, and so I'm not as I'll probably be rooting for the Rams, but not with a great passion. And the Rams are just such a non-factor for me. Like, I don't root for or against the Rams at all. I don't think I ever have.
They're one for the underdog. I got 2 questions.
Yep.
Have you talked to anybody who doesn't like Joe Burrow, who has been like, oh, that Burrow guy he rubs me raw?
I have 2 answers. Yes. Plenty of Steelers fans don't. Yeah, plenty of
Not
Steelers
when they're playing the
fans
Steelers.
No, but, it was funny. I was talking with a buddy of mine. Everybody loves it right now. But if he wins a couple of Super Bowls, watch how quickly. And it's just the nature. When Penn State won its first national title since '55 in wrestling in 2011, the college, they were the darlings of the college wrestling world. But he's like, congratulations. Well, now, for God's sake, man, move aside. And it's just, again, it's the nature of sports, and it's kind of the.
I got a lot of legs, by the way, on the Dan Gable. Kale Sanders and Dan. Why is everybody so angry out here? Why is everybody so mad? I got a lot of legs. I told that story multiple times this weekend.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yes, but I just, the Super Bowl week, obviously, I won't be here Thursday. I'm going away on the boys' trip and all that. So it is a super week. I'm super excited for all of this, but what was it? 3 years ago, Mahomes busted onto the scene. And it was a boyish charm. He's out there having fun. And now if you start looking at it, it's turning into, I hate when he acts like that out there. He's just so cocky and so conceited.
It won't take long.
Where 2 years ago, it was like, oh, my God, look at this. He's just having fun out there, just having a boyish charm and yada, yada, yada. Well, then his brother and fiance showed up, and now everybody hates Patrick Mahomes because of them. Yeah, but I like
Joe. You dump a little champagne on
the minions
down below.
But I like Burrow. I just haven't had anything that I would say bad about the guy.
I do too. And he has a little Broadway Joe in him, right? Like this that Joe Namath kind of flair and presence and all of that I think his teammates obviously gravitate toward. And
do you notice that?
I do think it's going to be a fun game.
They love him.
Oh, yeah.
Their players love him.
How would you not? Have you seen the clips going around? I don't even know. I think it was getting sent around on Facebook or something. But with Burrow sliding some of his slides from earlier in the year, and then it's something that he's worked on because but I forget, I don't even remember now who they were playing, but he slid. He's like, I'm getting better, huh? He looks up at the guy. He goes, yeah, you're not going to hit me as much today. He goes, I'm getting better. I think it was somebody with the Ravens.
I got to ask Pooch, didn't McNabb have didn't know how to slide? Was that him, the Eagles quarterback, who didn't know how to slide?
Burrow was horrible. I didn't really realize that they were showing some of the clips from early in the season, and it was ridiculous. And even the one official talked to him after the one play. He's like, if you're gonna go down, you got to get down. And he's like, I know. He goes, I got to work on it. He goes, the ref is like, you really do.
That's funny, man. And it's true though. You don't know how to slide. You don't know how to do it. It's it might have been Vic Booch. I'm just trying to think of it was an Eagles. It may not have been an Eagles quarterback, but it was such like a superior athlete, and he did not know how to slide. It was like, how do you not know how to slide? If you're a quarterback, I'm sure you grew up playing baseball, but it is a science.
You're thinking of Jaworski.
He didn't slide. He just took beatings over and over and over again. And then my next question.
Yeah.
Booch gave me before the show, and I didn't have an answer for him. Take away your Yinzer Steeler Super Bowls. What are some of your favorite what is your favorite Super Bowl?
Take away the Steelers
take away
Super Bowls.
What is it, 6?
What's the matter with you?
Hey, you've lost as many as the Eagles.
Well, what in the world?
Right, Butch?
Why would anybody
the Steelers have lost as many
thing.
Super Bowls as the Eagles.
Yeah, for me, as we've talked about, like I loved Jim Kelly. I just I always did, and then ended up with a little bit of a family connection with them, and so those Bills I was rooting. Maybe there must be something with Buffalo. Maybe I'm just drawn to Buffalo because I do. I mean, I was rooting for them this year too, but that Bills Giants Super Bowl for me will always, and it was. I mean, it wasn't gut wrenching. Like I got over it very quickly, but I'm like, oh man,
yeah, you turn it off. You're like, oh, great game.
I really wanted those guys to win that game just to get that feeling of what it is like to get a victory. I go all the way back to the Broncos Cowboys, the Orange Crush. We loved those. I don't know why our neighborhood, when I was a kid, we gravitated toward that Orange Crush defense, and for some reason it resonated. Yeah, cool. And I couldn't. I mean, I really, looking back, I don't know if it was just. I think it's actually. I suspect it was just part of, hey, this is something new, right? Like the Broncos basically had come from nowhere, and we had a couple of guys in the neighborhood. We were always playing pickup games in our churchyard, and we would have a couple of guys that are like, all right, I'm Randy Gradishar today. so that was always, I don't know, those Orange Crush. I think we actually, there were a few of us that got together to watch that Super Bowl, and we had I think Orange Crush had not been out that long, the drink, and we got a couple of cases, or at least a couple of 6-packs probably for the kids, but that was a fun one for me just because of the rooting interest there. But
mine is, I mean, it was just funny growing up because, I mean, I had one Eagles Super Bowl growing up, and it was 81. So, 9 years old, 8 years old, you don't really have a recollection. I remember the loss. I remember watching. I remember it was around the Iran hostage crisis. They wore the yellow ribbons on their helmets. So I really didn't have the Eagles weren't really ever. I mean, you had the Steelers in four of them in the 70s. So, so it was always so fun, like during the week, like you picked that team for that Super Bowl, and they were like your team for that week. And I remember the Dolphins, Redskins, with Marino, but it wasn't really Marino, right? It was the Killer B defense. It was early. I mean, it was the Redskins. It was Theismann's Super Bowl that he had won. And then they had beat – who was playing over Marino then?
Yeah, the Redskins. The Redskins had some teams, with the Hogs and the
they had 3 different quarterbacks. They had
Smurf bunch. Like they had some fun teams.
Yeah,
like if you weren't.
But my favorite game that I remember rooting for, and this is, you're going to laugh at this, but it was after 9/11, and it was, wow, I would love to see a new team like the New England Patriots come out here and take down this proven, dynasty in the St. Louis Rams at that time. I remember the game was on this week. I remember watching it, and I was like, how powerful performance that you two had given at halftime. But the game was just flat out amazing. And then listening to them talk about Tom Brady, because he wasn't Tom Brady yet, and John Madden, like, kneel on the ball. You just got to kneel it out here. You got to roll your dice and take it into overtime. You can't do this. And he goes right down the field, and Vinatieri kicks the field goal. And it was one of those things. It was just listening to Madden talk about a second-year quarterback in Tom Brady, like, oh, this guy, he's not proven. He's not done any of this stuff. I would just kneel. If I'm Bill Belichick, just kneel on the ball, get into overtime, and hope for the best. But they gave him the keys, and he took it down the field, and they won the game.
Yeah, when the Saints won their Super Bowl with Drew Brees, I was on board with that too. Like I don't know. Anytime you get kind of a new team,
sure. There's a guy who hadn't won it before.
Yeah,
I remember being happy for Peyton Manning when he won his. I was happy for Eli because they beat the then dynasty but not really. But it's just funny how you pick a team up but I remember that's the day I realized I was going to marry my wife. Was when she was watching that Saints Colts game, and Manning kept on just dumping it down, and she's like, if they don't go down the middle of the field and stretch the field, they're just gonna pack him in the whole. And I'm like, look at her. I was like, who the hell are you? And I was like, all right. So she was sitting there saying, the dump downs to Dallas Clark, or if you are not going to work that much, work that well if you don't stretch the field with Marvin and I forget the other guy already. Jeez. Floyd or Reggie Wayne. Jesus Lord.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. My keys to the game. Obviously, I'm going to go straight meathead on you here, and I like the opportunity. I like the chances that the Bengals have if they can block for Burrow. I mean, I went into that Kansas City game thinking that there's no way in hell Cincinnati could block Kansas City's D-line after watching how bad they were against Tennessee's D-line.
Yeah.
9 sacks, but they gave up none last week. So if they can do that again against the premier D-line in the league,
which
is a huge ask. That D-line is just sick. And again, they are. I'm not a McVay fan whatsoever. I think it's a little too John Gruden-ish in my world. They love showing him on the sideline, his childlike, oh, he's so happy. It wears thin, just like a lot of other things quarterbacks do. So, if they could block, but the Rams just putting all their chips in earlier in this year, it's good to see that work out for them. Like it really normally doesn't work out like that.
Yeah.
A lot of teams try to do that, load up and this and that. They get some high-end talent, older guys, and they don't pan out. But I don't know. Listen to the Rams, it may pan out for them. Can't bet against Joe, though.
Well, and the thing is, from a pressure standpoint, and I don't know that either of these teams are truly feeling all that much pressure. I mean, it's an opportunity, right? I mean, so you have pressure because you don't know. You never know if you're ever going to get there again. So it's you want to cash in case it is a once in a lifetime thing. But it does feel like the pressure, to whatever degree there is pressure, it is on the Rams, right? Like they are the team that went all in. They are the organization that kind of built everything toward this season, and it was almost Super Bowl or bust. Whereas with the Bengals. And again, I think we've talked about this, Goon. There are a lot of people saying, listen, Burrow's going to have lots of chances. You don't know that. Like I'm with you in thinking that that's going to be the case too. But listen, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs aren't going anywhere. It's not like that's a given that the Bengals now are just going to regularly beat the Chiefs every postseason. And we've seen this so many times over the years when the Steelers beat the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. Goon, everybody, and me included, I'm like, man, look out! The Cardinals are going to win it next year, and if not next year, I mean, because they just had and never really got all that close again, and especially in the NFL. It can change so dramatically so quickly. You get an injury, you get a couple of key defections, or you just get another team that gets a great draft or signs a couple of key players and elevates to that next step. I mean, again, I'm with everybody in thinking that the Bengals are going to be contenders for quite a while. But there's a difference between being contenders and being in the Super Bowl. And when you look at the AFC right now, to me, Goon, and I know there's been a lot of talk, with Tom Brady and the possibilities still out there that he may return. And, if so, where would he return and all of this? But when you look at the AFC, right, I mean, it feels like the Bills have got to get there sooner rather than later. Again, the Chiefs feel like they are perennial Super Bowl contenders. It feels like the Bengals are now one of those teams. It feels like the Patriots are very quickly closing in on being that type of a franchise again.
Titans.
The Steelers, we'll see what happens with the quarterback situation. The Titans are absolutely loaded for sure. And I think the Chargers, the Raiders, as they get some things settled, the Broncos, if they get their quarterback situation,
I'm very upset for your Steelers right now.
And listen,
12 teams, and I was like, holy hell.
Well, but if the Steelers get their quarterback situation, and that's a huge if, I grant you, but I don't think they're as far away as what many people that I'm listening to seem to think. I think if they get, and again, big if, but if they get a quarterback, an above average quarterback for the next few years, I think they're going to be in the mix too. And again, so much of it does come down. There is an element of luck here in terms of being healthy at the right time of the year, right? The Bengals are healthy by and large at the right time of the year. And that just goes a long way toward giving you a chance, at least, to go out there and do some big things. So,
and the big thing that no one's really, the happiest guy in the world that Joe Burrow is in this Super Bowl is Matt Stafford. Because no one's sitting there really talking about him. Everybody's talking about Joe Cool. And Stafford, this is a career-defining game for him, in my opinion. I think that he has gotten the big game moniker off of his back a little bit because he's won the last 2 weeks. But, he has a bad Super Bowl. That's going to be his MO. That'll be how people will remember him, in my opinion. He needs this game more than Burrow does. My feeling.
At this stage of their careers,
yes,
I would agree with you. Again, what you don't know is if Burrow goes out there and has a poor game and never gets back, right? Yep. For as gaudy a stats as he may put up, I've argued over the years, as great as Joe Montana, Tom Brady, all those guys are, Dan Marino, in my mind, is right there with all of those guys in terms of ability and what he was able to do at the quarterback spot. He just never had a team that got to the Super Bowl, and so he's viewed differently. But I'm telling you, Dan Marino, in terms of talent and throwing the football, I would put again right there with all of the great John Elway, whoever you put up there. Obviously, everybody has Joe Montana and Tom Brady, at least on their very short list of the greatest of the greats. But I'm telling you, Dan Marino's right there.
There was a knock on Elway
there. Well, until he.
Do you? It's funny that you said Elway because that is my comparison of who I think Stafford is compared to right now. Like, okay, this is such a huge game for Matt Stafford because he can go down as being the John Elway type of guy who finally goes and gets his – this one's for John,
Yeah.
But I think that John Elway getting his second Super Bowl, everybody's like, okay, he is one of the greats. And they already knew that going in, but I just think that Stafford has that – he has that need to be – this is his how we're going to remember him. This is his career game. And, like, what was it? Who was it? Ray Bork, who left – Boston and went out to Colorado and won a Stanley Cup with them. It sort of reminds you of that, the Bruins had been so bad for so long and they'd wasted his talent, never won a Super Bowl. So this is sort of the same thing, in my opinion. And you don't really hear many people talking about Stafford. I'm sure he's happy as hell about it, not having to talk about it because this is his. Again, I believe my opinion is this is his career. This is how he's going to be remembered. Are you going to be the Detroit Lions quarterback who? Was so successful but never got to that big game. Now you're in the big game. Now you got to win it. And we'll see. I'm very interested in the game. I won't be here Thursday to talk about it, but big time, like, can't wait to see this game, to see how it plays out. And Aaron Donald is an absolute stud. Von Miller's an absolute stud. And you're going to see those guys' names. But they were not heard of last week against the 49ers. So it's depending on who shows up there, you know?
Well, Donald came up big late in the
game. He made that play.
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. You're at a point right now where you feel foolish betting against either of these teams or either of these quarterbacks, right? Like everybody's like, well, I'm taking this team, but I wouldn't bet against Joe Burrow. Well, I'm taking this team, but I wouldn't bet against myself. Well, you are. I mean, you gotta. If you're betting against one of them, and one of these teams, one of these coaches and coaching staffs. But yeah, they've both been obviously tremendous in this postseason. And, we'll see how the Super Bowl plays out. I'm expecting it to be a competitive game. And if it is, I do think this has I think it will go down as the greatest playoffs that we've ever had in the NFL.
I was getting my hair cut today, and somebody said it. I was like, well, they have a lot to live up to make this, to finish right? this playoff up.
Yeah.
I mean, for as bad as the wild card weekend games were, in my opinion, the last 2 weeks have just been off the charts crazy.
Yeah.
Like one of those things that we're going to talk about the rest of our life. I had the misfortune of talking to Johnny Butler a couple days after they had lost to Kansas City. He's Buffalo's coach. And he was saying, I'm still stunned, just completely stunned by it. I mean, that's how much it hurt. And I said, listen, you were literally just involved in the greatest game in the history of the NFL. I know you came out losing then, but in the long run, that's pretty freaking cool, bud.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Agreed.
So, good game. I can't wait. If you're going to gamble, I'm going to tell you to do this. Put money in a block pool and hope you get some good numbers because I don't know which way to go. Ironhead will make the play. We just go the complete opposite. We'll just go the opposite. Let me know who you're playing, Ironhead, and we'll go.
That's where the smart money always goes.
Man. But now my other question, and I talked to you about this off the air a little bit, and that is we see that the Bengals are pulling in and they're playing here. I did notice that they are just a team. There's no families involved. Now, I know COVID was weird last year. Eddie didn't have an answer, but if anybody out there can – are the Rams staying at home this week, do you think? Or do you think they're going to be part of the Super Bowl downtown experience, quarantined, all of this stuff? Who knows?
Yeah, I'll bet. I don't know. I haven't really seen or looked for that. But I would bet, though, that they're going to a hotel and try. Like, you want to have as much semblance of quote unquote normalcy, Super Bowl normalcy, which is.
And then last year was weird because the Bucks, like AQ said, the Bucks were sleeping at home last year because that was so many quarantine rules and COVID rules are a little different this year. So it'll be interesting to see. I would think that they're going to be in a hotel. Think they're going to be at the media day. They're going to be here. They're going to be there and have to do all that stuff that really wasn't. They didn't have to do that last year, as in AKA the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home.
Yeah.
Be interesting, buddy. They save a lot of money on the airfare, not having to bring another jumbo jet of another team to LA. So
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun game. And again, I really don't have any passionate rooting interest whatsoever. So,
well, if the Pro Bowl has anything to do with how competitive this Super Bowl is going to be, I expect one of the greatest games in the history of competition.
No question. The thing you love is when you see guys, they get picked for that thing and then they take it as seriously and as passionately as those guys do. Those players felt it the next morning after the hard hits that were delivered throughout that game.
It took me 3 or 4 plays to realize, holy crap, they're playing two-hand touch. And I saw Najee Harris go through the line of scrimmage and this and that, and I heard whistle. I'm like, he's still standing up. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
We're good. That's got to end. I'm sorry. The Pro Bowl needs to end. If that's the way that's how it's going to be competed in and how it's going to be played, it's pointless. No one is going to watch.
And in all honesty, why not just do like autograph sessions and skill competitions, and because a couple of things. I mean, yeah, you want to have some sort of event like that for fan recognition and that sort of thing. But to me, very understandably, these guys don't want to get hurt playing a Pro Bowl game, right?
Well,
so
they're a commodity.
Why not just
it's
take,
the owners
take
who are in charge of that.
Yeah, but I mean, but they don't either. I mean, they know that they have a short shelf life as it is. You don't want to risk, shortening it over a game that truly is meaningless. And so I think, I think doing away with the game itself and figuring out something else. Go back to the old Are you
going down my road right now? No, I'm thinking because I have two ideas.
I think go the superstars route and do the tug of war, AFC versus NFC.
Well, they did that the night before.
The tug of war and hurdles and whatever else. Have some fun with it.
I don't know. Gabe Kapner really dominated that in the 70s there, Ironhead. I don't know if they can bring him back.
Don't think Mr. Cotter will be available.
So two things, and that is I did see that somebody had posted on social media that the Pro Bowl, as bad as it was, as bad a product as it was, had 6 million viewers, and that was 1 million viewers more than the games 1 through 6 in the World Series average. Yeah. And the NBA finals, it averaged more fans that game than they averaged in their finals. So their worst product is better
almost
than
like
their
Americans
best product.
are obsessed with football or something.
Yeah, and I don't like the other sports. So I would say my opinion would be let's go back to the college route and bring in the college All-American guys, and then you're not going to have all of the guys playing. It'll be guys opting out, but why not move the Senior Bowl and put your All-Pro Bowl players around the field and this and that throughout the game, but then the game be actually like an All-Star Senior Bowl showcase type of thing, just to get some. If you're going to have it, because if that's the game that they were going to play and going forward in the future, don't even play the game. It's absolutely pointless. It was horrible. I watched 10 minutes of it.
I don't know. I think you just have the NFL stars like Powder Puff coach the lingerie football league all stars.
Hey man, Shane Conlin. I saw Shane Conlin in the All Stars competition. I did. And it was like they used to have that thing because I remember him sitting there and they were doing like lifting and stuff, and they had to do like shoulder presses over their head, standing up. And if I recall, didn't Larry Allen rock out like 45 reps of 225 in one of those competitions?
He did. Yeah, he was a phenom.
You're just like looking at it. You're like, is that even? I mean, that's not even comprehensible.
Yeah,
how strong of a human being that is. And the fact that it's 225 pounds and it's just like boom, 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 just throwing around like that just blows my mind. And I watched that Larry Allen video, and you're like, holy crap, that was a big boy, big man, strong man.
Switching gears just for a moment. So the Olympic Games,
when do they start?
with the Winter Olympics, there's just a couple of things that are truly crazy to me. And I realize this has been talked about an awful lot. But in all honesty, what in the world is the IOC doing? Why are you making people... And I've listened to and from a principle standpoint, I'm with the folks that are saying just boycott the Olympics, and I don't know that we as a country truly appreciate the human rights violations that are occurring on a regular basis in China. For all of the marches and the complaints and I'm all for it, working toward a more perfect democracy and, better treatment of everybody. But my God, to then turn around and award the Olympic Games to a country that kills its own citizens, folks, for speaking out.
Multiple reasons.
or for
religious beliefs.
Yeah, I just and listen, it's not the athlete's fault, right? Like nobody is blaming the athletes, but the IOC is putting folks in a to me a completely untenable situation where. Listen, you want to support athletes that have spent their whole lives, I would have understood if the U.S. boycotted. It would have broken my heart, and I don't necessarily think that's the right thing to do. But my God, we have politicians here telling our athletes to make sure, just be quiet, just sit there. I mean, that's insane, right? Like on some level, yes. We understand that this is insanity, that you're sending athletes to a country where you are genuinely concerned about their physical and mental well-being. Well, yeah, everybody in attendance. Why in God's name the IOC
what is a more idiotic branch of
these ongoing decisions?
NCAA or IOC? You think they're run by the same people?
Yeah, I actually think the IOC may be even more corrupt,
and that's
hard to believe as that
to think
about. Yeah, but that organization has gone so far away from its stated purpose. And,
I wonder where. I mean, all the pollution and all the issues that go over in China. We have had an issue in pollution. We fixed everything up. Where's Greta at? Is she going to go to China and speak out? I mean, is she going to take a rowboat over to China, do you think, Booch? And then, make a stand about the pollution in China? Is anyone going to say a word about that? No, nothing. Probably not. Damn it.
Greta Van Susteren may go over there and talk about that. You never know.
Greta Van Fleet, baby. Oh, Lord. No, but I do love watching the Olympics.
I do too.
I always have. It's the competition that I noticed something last night, Ironhead, and I looked at my wife and I said, "This is the future of athleticism or of athletics." And I'm watching, I don't know, some kind of snow mogul jump thing or whatever. I don't know, one of these new sports in there. We don't even know what the hell it is, but it was a Chinese American. She won the gold for China. She was born in America, but she whatever, because she didn't make the team here. So she wins the gold. She had to stop what she was doing, stop her celebration, and go and console the person who won the silver medal, because they were falling on the ground, inconsolable, crying and whimpering and this and that, because she had lost the gold by such a short margin and this and that. So this lady, the greatest that ever happened in her life, she's got to sit there and worry about going over and rubbing this girl's back because she beat her for a gold and she got a silver. And that's the new world, man. That's unbelievable. That's the world we're living in, Ironhead.
It is, and it is strange. I will say that the thing I really do enjoy about the Olympic Games is hearing the individual stories. And then, admittedly, I'm not going to watch luge or bobsled other than these couple of weeks every 4 years. Like it's not something I'm interested in, but I am interested when it's the Olympic Games, right? And like I still love watching curling. It's the ongoing debate about, but it is fascinating to me, and it feels like that could be my gateway to the Olympic Games.
Get in there.
Like I feel like. Right, you're watching that. I mean, you're pushing a stone along the ice.
Well, they showed the U.S. four-man team, and it looked like a bowling team from Belfont.
It's basically bocce on ice. And
absolutely.
I'm a two-time Center Region bocce champion, my man. Captain of the team.
Dominant.
So, I mean, how hard can this be? But it is fascinating to watch, and I don't even know what I'm watching half the time, to watch the technique involved, whether it's with the curling. I'll tell you the sport that truly is fascinating, and I have an appreciation for, and absolutely no understanding or comprehension of what it must actually be like, because I neither ski nor shoot. But the biathlon is just one of the most amazing things to me, where you're it's that you're battling endurance. You're trying to you've got to be in peak physical shape, but then you got to try to get that heart rate down as quickly as possible and take your time, but not too much time to get the shots off. I don't know. It's fascinating to me.
You can get into curling. My physical fitness, I can get into biathlon with the shooting and
I
just
love
being in
biathlon.
peak physical shape, and pulling guns off your back. And I failed my biathlon test because they do test for alcohol. Because it calms you down. So actually, the Olympic people who are shooting, their blood test and their urine test, they actually test for alcohol and drugs because they want to see if it's. That's why your heart rate's slowing. So I mean, there it goes. There goes my chance to be a biathlon champion.
Yeah, but then you got to figure out which of the two targets you're actually supposed to be shooting at.
The middle one, right at the middle. That's what Rocky was taught. I see 3 of them. We'll hit the one in the middle. That's all you got to do, Rocky.
Absolutely right.
But yeah, I do love the Olympics, and I got a question.
Yeah.
We're watching luge right now. There is the bobsled, and there's the skeleton where you're going down head first. Which
skeleton
of the 3
is insane?
Of the 3, there's no way in absolute hell. If you were promised that you could survive, would you go down one of those courses?
It would be fun. Yeah, I think so. If I had that guarantee, sure.
I mean, it would have to be a 2-man sled, and the person's laying on top of me. I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I want to see it. So the bobsled with your head's down and you can't see what you're doing, but I think that would be freaking awesome.
The other one that looks like it would be
absolutely no way. Luge, yes.
Yeah, the other one that looks to me like it would be a hell of a lot of fun and that I don't think I would ever have the nerve to do. And if I somehow ever got the nerve, I'm pretty sure I would break at least one, if not both of my legs. It is the ski jumping.
So awesome.
It just looks. Was watching with Reg the other night. I'm like, look at these guys,
crazy.
Like it looks, and they make it look easy. And you just like.
See, somebody said it to me too one time. I'm a social media guy, so somebody said before every match in the Olympics, they should put normal human beings out there and tell them to do what they're going to do, just to show how absolutely hard it is what they're doing.
I have a question.
Yes.
In 2020, is there such thing as normal human beings?
In 2020. We're not normal. We're no longer.
Since 2020, I should say.
Oh, yes. Well, half of us.
Is there such thing
half
as...
of us. No, but
I don't know.
I mean, that would be... just send somebody down on the ski lift, on the ski jump. So we got Mike Mister going down here on the tall loop right now, and see him just fly down, jump off, skis flying everywhere, breaks every bone in his body, and then they say, "This is how hard it is," as they're peeling Mike off the course. But wouldn't that be like figure skating? Like you don't realize how freaking hard all that stuff is. Those jumps and doing all this, and just to put Joe Schmo out there and say, go do this. Mikey, go get a double jump over there and see what happens. But it was a pretty good theory. So I would do the 2-man luge over those 3. I would love to go down one of those things. And I actually did some research on it.
Yeah.
Where the hell do you practice this stuff? How do you you don't go down to Belfont or you go into Phillipsburg and say, oh, there's a luge track here. We should go try that. There's only 2 in the whole country. I mean, we're really hamstringing ourselves and we're going to find athletes to do our luging and our bobsledding and our ski jumping.
It's all mental preparation. Goon.
All mental?
You got to see yourself doing
that's
it.
Me. I'm
be the luge.
I'm as mental as they come, Ironhead. I should be a 3-time Olympian.
But
going back to what you said about we should boycott this and that, yada, yada, yada. Yes, I agree, but you're tight with David. David's whole life he was gearing up towards those 2020 Olympics. And could you imagine something like that?
You talk with Charmaret or Greg Fredericks about the folks that did not get the opportunity to compete in the 1980 Olympics. It still is
and
devastating to them.
Even when you see an 84 champion, you got to start thinking there was no Eastern Bloc countries involved in that. And this and that. So was it a little tainted type of Olympics? That's all. That's what I see, and that stinks.
It does stink.
But I mean, these guys losing right now. They've been sitting there for 10 years training, and they're shooting for the 2022 Olympics, and they go from there. Again, we shouldn't be there.
Let's luge it up.
I would luge. And it led to my next question to my wife.
Yeah.
Would you parachute? Would you jump out of a plane?
Yeah, I've done it.
Did you really?
Yeah, in Australia, no less. And actually, so the story about that was I was supposed to go over to Australia with a buddy of mine, and he took a new job, I don't know, a couple months before he went over, and he's like, I'm not going to be able to get off. So I went to the person that had coordinated the trip for us and got us in with the tour.
Yeah.
We were like on a bus tour, and I'm like, I think I'm still going to go. Is that nuts? And she's like, well, no, that's what, like, you're going to be on the bus with a lot of Europeans. And like, I guarantee you're not going to be the only person traveling alone. Like that's not an uncommon practice in Europe. And there were a couple of others. She was right. A couple of others on the bus tour. So it was like a 2-week, basically tore up the East Coast of Australia. There's different options to do different things throughout the entire trip. And the one day that they were, and you're planning a couple of days in advance, hey, yeah, sign us up for this, and you got to pay for, whatever it is you're going to be partaking in. And so we started looking, and it's like, well, you have this opportunity to parachute. And so the one night at dinner, we're all drinking and having a good time. There's like 5 of us guys, a couple of guys from Canada, a guy from New York, me. We're sitting around and BS, and it's like, are you guys going to parachute? And it's like, I don't think so. Like, that's next level stuff. Well, there were 3 girls that were gorgeous on the bus trip. The 3 girls walk into dinner, and again, we've been drinking throughout the better part of the afternoon and into the evening. We've all agreed, we're going to find, I don't even know what the other excursion was that day, but we're all pretty much, the 3 girls walk by, they're like, you guys are going to do the parachuting, right? Because we're going. We want you guys to go with us. We're like, oh, yeah, we're doing it. so we all did it. And it was cool. But the other part of the story, so it's tandem jumps, of course. And so the guy, I'm like the 3rd one out of a group of 4 that were up on our plane. We get about... and they give you, I don't know, a couple hours course on, all right, this is what you do. This is how you prepare, listen to the instructor, all of this. And one of the things was, you got to kind of curl your knees up when you hit. You don't want to, be hitting with everything on your feet. Like you want to. So we get about 30 feet from the ground. And this is probably going to be the last words I hear in my head before I die. But the guy that's tandem jumping with me is like, bloody fuck, get your feet up. I'm like, what? So we had this wind gust. I didn't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know the difference between, but he knows that we're in trouble. And
oh my God.
We hit hard, but I'm fine. And it takes me a moment to realize, but we have like 20 people running over that know what they're doing. And like, are you okay? Any broken bone? I'm like, no, I think we're good. And like, man, that was bad. Like you got a wind gust at the wrong time. But this guy's yelling in my ear.
Scaring the hell out of you. I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. But it made for a great story that night as we sat around drinking beers.
The best part of the story is you guys were out and then the hot girl showed up and then all of a sudden you guys were in.
It was ridiculous.
So
we were ridiculous.
Testosterone.
Absolutely.
Alcohol fueled testosterone.
But it was I would like to do it again sometime.
Really?
It was I
just can't see myself jumping out of a plane.
It was a rush. I will say. It was a big time rush.
Yeah, true. Back when I was skinny, back when I was 11 months old. So we're about 49 years back from me being skinny. So,
real quick, Goon, the Penn State Michigan basketball tonight,
9 p.m.
Oh yeah, you got to love the early tip-offs here. That ensures that everybody will be coming up from Harrisburg to be able to watch. Once again, the Big Ten doing all kinds of wonderful favors for Penn State and its fan base. But another big opportunity here. And after all the travel problems and everything, it was a pretty valiant second half effort at Wisconsin. But this would be obviously a very nice one to get. Anytime you can beat Michigan in anything, as a Penn State fan, I think you take it and take great satisfaction in it.
Absolutely. Can't stand Michigan. Nothing about them. And, obviously basketball tonight. I got a feeling, Ironhead. I really do. I just thought that, what happened on Saturday, and the story is our team landed at 3:00 Wisconsin time, and they had a basketball game at 5:00 Wisconsin time. So they had a whole hour and 50 minutes to get from the airport to the gym to stretch up, shoot, whatever. No practice, nothing.
Yeah.
The fact that they were even in that game into the second half is an absolute miracle. And that is that no one's really talking about the defense these guys are playing. I mean, they're playing some pretty good pressure defense. Nobody's shooting the ball well on them in the end of the first half. But I mean, Penn State was really bad in the first half. But Wisconsin was very close second.
Yeah.
So tonight, if we could put it together for two halves, I have a pretty good feeling, and I really think it's going to happen. I'm going to call the upset tonight. If not, just take the points.
It. I think I'm on board with you. I continue to be impressed with the way this team competes and gives itself a chance.
Only a 2-point game.
With the exception of the Indiana game, it gives itself a chance. Just about every time out, and that's saying something considering everything this team and program has been through the last couple of years.
Yeah, you continue on that shooting that you guys had in the second half and then do that for two whole halves. I mean, you can run with anybody in this country, in my opinion, that they're going to play that way.
Oh, for sure.
You just can't have an 11-point first half. What was it, 13 points?
It's difficult when I
didn't think the 17 from Indiana – the Indiana game earlier in the week could have been
but again, given
matched.
the circumstances, I mean, it's understandable.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. So
you watch a lot of our shots. They all come up short on Saturday night.
And I think they'll be fired up. They being the Penn State players will be fired up to be at home here.
Night game. I think our fans will have a little bit of little extra juice in them. You know what I mean?
I think that is true. Those that are there, the younger fan base should turn out and have some fun.
Yeah. Speaking of fun, you got a lot of TV time today, Ironhead.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious! Big time for you the other day.
Oh boy.
More so the Sunday matches.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't think.
You're up in the mountain. They're up in the hill. They're screaming at you. I don't think they're showing you, but a lot of Ironhead shots on there the other day on Sunday. Hell of a match.
Yeah, and listen, for great, Penn State to overcome the some of the injuries here and be able to put it together the way they did against two really good teams, and that Nebraska team is just
waiting.
It's a dangerous team.
You said it last Tuesday.
Dual meat wise, but
you said watch out for this Nebraska team because we're coming off of a Friday night big lights, big match against Ohio State. Nebraska can come in here, and that was before the guys were even hurt.
Yeah, although Nebraska having to travel from Lincoln, wrestling at home for Friday night and then making that trip on Saturday is not an easy thing either. But I think Penn State deserves a lot of credit for the way it navigated this season. And obviously the focus right now is getting everybody healthy here over the next 4 weeks and putting it all together in the postseason the way this team or this program has a lot more often than not under Kyle Sanderson and Cody Sanderson and Casey Cunningham's tutelage. And I do
so awesome watching him.
I do think I think Penn State is rightfully the Big Ten and NCAA favorite, but I do think this is as challenging in terms of the depth that is there at each weight class, as challenging a field as I can remember for, again, assuming everybody's healthy, and I mean everybody nationally is healthy, the depth and the number of top contenders at each weight is amazing. And, that being said, we've been talking for a while. And again, I want to make sure you understand. I am not predicting this. I am not expecting it.
Bank it.
I don't think it's like crazy out of this world thinking to believe that Penn State could get as many as 7 into the finals. Nobody's ever had more than 6.
In the Big Tens or the Nationals?
In Nationals.
Holy hell.
Listen, well, you have 4 guys that were there last year. You have Max Dean, who was there 3 years ago. So you have 5 guys that are capable of getting there. And again, there is no guarantee that any of them. The margin for error this year, it probably is always pretty small, but like as good and as consistent as Aaron Brooks is, again, one mistake, right, in a quarterfinal or semifinal bout, and all of a sudden you're going for third instead of a title. You lose your balance a little bit. There's not like this wide gap at most of the weights. But
it just takes one.
So you have those 5 guys, and then you have, Drew Hildebrandt. Again, I'm not predicting or expecting that he'll be in the finals, but with the way he's wrestled and with the way he wrestled Soriano, right, like it's not out of the realm of possibility. And Greg Kirkfleet is certainly a guy that is capable of getting to the finals. Now, part of it is going to be obviously the seeding there and whether or not you're on the same side of the bracket as Gable Steveson. But, I really think with the exception of 49, maybe 57, although if Brady Berge does go at 57, again, I don't rule him out as a possible finalist. Again, not predicting it, not expecting it. Yeah, I think they want to see. Yeah. I think he and the coaches want to see. All right, if we get down to 57, is this something that
I ask you this every year
can manage and be effective at?
How many matches does he have to wrestle in to get eligible to be in the Big Ten tournament?
None.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. What happens though is that you don't get an automatic. So the conference qualifies the number of kids at a weight class based on the regular season performance. So Brady Berge wouldn't get the Big Ten A spot, but let's say the Big Ten has 6 spots at the NCAA at 157. And I haven't sat down and looked at it, but let's just say
this is before the tournament or after the Big Ten tournament?
So before the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA will let you know how many wrestlers automatically qualify at each weight class. And it's not the wrestlers, it's the top however many that qualify for the conference. So Brady Berge will know going into the conference tournament, hey, to get an automatic berth, I have to finish
top 6,
top 5,
top 4,
whatever it is. Yes.
Gotcha.
So then, again, you qualify in that area, and you're fine. it gets a little more dicey if you don't have matches at that weight class. Very dicey if you don't have matches at that weight class, if you do not earn one of the automatic berths to the NCAA.
Gotcha.
And again,
where are the Big Tens at?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so it'll be it's going to be a fun postseason.
Yeah,
hopefully a lot of fun for Penn State. But I mean, I really do think this has a chance to just be very, very memorable in terms of
that couldn't have come up at a better time right now. I was just going to say, I cannot believe what this Love It kid did the other day.
Yeah,
I have never seen, and I don't watch enough wrestling, but to be in the position that he was on his ass, literally his left foot was by his ear, and he rocks up and takes the guy down. I mean, just amazing. I mean, the announcers were going crazy about it, and I was like, well, I don't think it was that crazy. I mean, then I looked at it, and it was in slow motion, and you're wow, that was a lot of power coming off the ground there, man.
A whole lot of power. Yeah, he has.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he has some pretty amazing leverage that he's somehow able to get. So, yeah, it'll be, again, Big Tens will be fun. I think there's a lot of teams that could finish anywhere from, 3rd to 10th or 11th in terms of the conference tournament. And then, again, nationals, you throw in all of the guys with the Ivy League. It's going to be amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was an amazing takedown. Love it. All right.
It was impressive.
Goon, enjoy your Super Bowl venture.
Oh, yeah, I should be okay. Hopefully I make it home.
We always hope and pray for that.
It is always a wonderful Tuesday coming back to the show as I leave here and go to Betty Ford.
Hopefully we get a good win for Penn State hoops that Booch and I can talk about on Thursday.
I like it. I'm telling you, it's only a 2-point game. I like Penn State in this game.
Until Thursday.
Load up on Michigan.
Be good. And be safe.
The leap of faith. Some hesitate, but not you. You don't ask what if. You embrace what's next with open arms. You don't question your decision. You double down. Because you know the thrill is worth it. Introducing the 2022 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickle's Tap Room, we say,
tell him Johnny sent you.
And remember,